I think we can all safely say without a doubt that the canon event known as high school was probably the worst experience of our lives. Now what if I told you that if you didn't go to an African high school, you had it easy? You wouldn't believe me, would you? You would think I'm just spouting nonsense. But hey, at least give me a chance to explain why going to high school in Africa sucked. By the end of this video you have understood, trust me. By the way, these things are in no particular order, I'm just spitting facts. First on the list is the toilets. Trust me when I say using a toilet at a high school in Africa is the most traumatizing experience you can ever go through. You take one step in and you're immediately hit by a wall of stench way worse than your grandmother's breath. The bad air in there is so thick you can cut it up and serve it in a dish of toilet soup or something, bruh. You will find actual shit on the walls. There was never any toilet paper, so I guess people had to improvise and use the wall, but no! What the fuck? Others decided to improvise by using paper. I mean paper, as in the paper that we write on. Like, bro, do you know how hard that shit is? I bet their booty holes were screaming for their lives every time after one wipe. And then on top of that, there was never any hand wash in the bathrooms. Shit. It's kinda sickening just imagining how many disgusting unwashed hands I may have shaken. The horror. Then up next, we have a little something called the noisemakers list. I don't know if this happens in every African country or if it only happens in mine, but every school I had ever been to had one thing in common, and that's a noisemakers list. A noisemakers list is a handwritten list of people that were quote-unquote making noise, for example talking in class, that would later be given to a teacher who would then give them a punishment. It sounds ridiculous, I know, because it was ridiculous. I already had to go to school, which was depressing. I had to study my ass off. I had to try and do my best in my classes. And then even when I wanted just a little bit of social interaction with my desk mate to give myself a breather, I had to worry about a goddamn list? Oh hell no, that bullshit was ass, my nigga. Even when you just asked for a pen, you would be written, and believe me when I say it happened to me countless times. To all the people that were never written, I still don't know how you managed to never talk in class, but I envy you guys. And then, you know, it's kind of funny that the people who almost always wrote the noisemakers list were also teachers' pets. Another terrible thing about high school. A teacher's pet is a school student who is treated with special favor by a teacher, especially on account of being ostentatiously well-behaved or studious. So now I'm pretty sure we're familiar with what a teacher's pet is at this point. I'm even willing to bet $100 that you were one. I'm just kidding, I'm broke. Now, teachers' pets were terrible, not only because of the feats they were willing to do to be in the teachers' good books, but also because of what they did to make the rest of us bad students suffer, especially when a teacher's pet is appointed as a prefect. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that getting good grades is terrible. If anything, it's the best thing you can do while you're in school. But the way the teacher's pets did it felt like they did it with a hint of condescension. They did everything the teacher asked of them, trying to portray themselves as the good students, and I was always wondering, like, what the fuck is the point of all this? These would jump through hoops, do cartwheels and somersaults, being all performative for our history madam, but buddy, she is not trying to get in your pants. No one is trying to get in your pants, bruh. You just look like a stupid little circus monkey doing tricks to please your master. I still don't get what was so worthwhile about doing this. Like, honestly, what was the point? I still don't get it. And let's not even talk about detention. Hold on, wait, screw that. Let's talk about detention. You remember how I said the teachers' pets would make us suffer even more when they were appointed as prefects? Well, guess who detained us most of the time? I'll give you a second. To be honest, I don't see any sense in giving your own class detention because it means you also don't get to go home early. You would also have to stay along to supervise your fellow classmates. What's so fun about that? It would make sense for you as the prefect if you could go home earlier, while your classmates remain detained, which you would still be an asshole for doing and you should burn in hell for doing that. But no, it doesn't work like that. So I don't know what kind of weird ass kinky shit they got out of doing this. Honestly, I hated detention. I mean, who didn't? Sometimes I would reach home as late as 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. But at least that's all behind me now. Now I'm in an even shittier place. College. Of course, next we have tests and exams, which kind of were the end-all be-all of high school. I think I speak for all of us when I say that tests and exams were an absolute dogshit experience. Sitting at a desk about to write a test you've studied absolutely nothing for, about to shit your pants in front of all your classmates. I know we've all had that fantasy thought where, while writing a paper, we, by some miracle, receive a divine revelation and start cooking on that exam paper despite not having studied a single page the entire semester. We've all hoped for that at one point or another. Too bad it doesn't happen in real life. I mean, I've actually written tests that were so hard I literally began to question my own intelligence. Leave it to college to do that to you. What would make tests and exams even worse than they already were was when your homie would nudge you asking for the answer, and then while you're already risking your grades by giving your homie the answer, he or she deadass starts asking for spellings. Oh my god, bruh. Oh my god. Or when they ask you for the answer to a certain question and you tell them you genuinely don't know the answer, but instead of moving on with their lives and continuing with the paper, they start pulling out the James Dokes look. Like they know that you know the answer, but they just can't prove it. Nothing pissed me off more than that, bro. Last but not least, we have the final worst thing about high school, and I'm pretty sure we can all agree that we all hated this one the most, because we know the others on this list are bad, but we wouldn't have had to go through them without having gone through this one first. Waking up. I mean, I hate everything else, but nothing caused me more dread than waking up and realizing I have to go to school and live through this intolerable bullshit over and over and over and over again every day. If I'm being honest, it felt depressing. It even got to a point that I loved staying in dreamland so much that I began to pull that one move we've all pulled countless times, where when your mom wakes you up, you start getting up, but immediately she turns her back on you or she leaves the room, you jump in the blankets and go back to sleep. So nostalgic, am I right? High school was a shitty experience. I think that, and you guys do too. I mean, that is why you're here watching this video, right? Anyways, that's all I had to say. Blah 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 blah. Some other YouTube stuff that you're supposed to say at the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like, comment, and consider subscribing if you want to see more of my content. Check out my socials, my Instagram, my TikTok. And if you enjoyed today's video's script, guess what? You can get it on my Patreon by becoming a patron, by becoming a member for only $4 a month. You get access to my YouTube video scripts as soon as my YouTube video comes out. You also get access to my unreleased thumbnails, and you also gain knowledge about the next YouTube commentary video up to like a week before it actually gets uploaded. And as a bonus, you get a wallpaper every month that I make. So yeah, those are the perks. Consider joining the Patreon if you're interested. And yeah, I think that's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.